So let's tackle one of the biggest questions in business, right? What is it that separates the companies that make it from the ones that just fade away? We're going to dive into some really cool research to find out the real secret to sticking around for the long haul. I mean, you've seen it, right? A local spot opens up full of passion and energy, but a couple of years later, the doors are closed. Meanwhile, another business, maybe right across the street, just keeps growing and growing. What's their secret sauce? It's a puzzle that people have been trying to figure out forever. Okay, to really get to the bottom of this, we've got to think like the pros. And you know what they look for? Not just this year's profit. Nope. They're hunting for something way more powerful, something they call a sustainable competitive advantage. Now listen closely to that word sustainable. This isn't about having one hit product or a killer sale that one time. It's all about having the ability to consistently stay ahead of everyone else year after year. It's that magic something that your competitors look at and just can't figure out how to copy. So how do you even build an edge like that? Well, the classic playbook really breaks it down into three main roads you can take. You can be the cheapest one out there, right? Think of a big discount store. Or you could be totally unique, offering something nobody else has. The third option? You become the absolute king of a tiny, specific corner of the market, serving that group better than anyone else possibly could. But here's the thing. In the world we live in now, where everything moves so fast, what actually fuels those strategies? What keeps that edge from getting dull? Well, the research points to one single powerful engine: innovation. And let's be clear, innovation capability isn't some kind of magical lightning strike of genius that happens at 3 a.m. No way. It's a skill. It's a muscle that a company can actually build. The ability to take new ideas and systematically turn them into things that people will actually pay for. And this skill? It really comes down to two key parts. Think about it like a top-tier restaurant. Product innovation, that's your incredible one-of-a-kind recipe. It's what you make. But process innovation, that's your amazing high-tech kitchen and your perfectly smooth workflow that lets you crank out that incredible dish perfectly every single time. That's how you make it. You absolutely need both to. Okay, so all of this sounds really good on paper, right? But does it actually hold up in the real world? This is where the research we're looking at gets super interesting. Some researchers decided, you know what? Let's put this to the test. So they went out and they talked to 194 real-world small businesses in Erbil, Iraq. They surveyed the owners and the top managers, the people in the trenches, making the decisions every single day. So this isn't some abstract theory. This is grounded in what's actually happening out there. And that brings us to the big million-dollar question of this whole study. After all that work, what did they find out? Is there a real, tangible connection between how innovative a company is and its ability to stay on top? And the answer was a huge, resounding yes. I mean, just look at these charts. They pretty much tell the entire story. Every little blue dot on there is one of those businesses. The further to the right a dot is, the more innovative that company is. The higher up it is, the stronger its competitive edge. You can literally see the trend climbing upwards on both charts. It doesn't matter if it's product innovation or process innovation, the message is crystal clear. More innovation equals a stronger advantage. But just how strong is that link? Well, the data spit out this incredible number. A company's innovation plus the owner's leadership could actually predict 68% of its long-term competitive strength. Now, let me put that into perspective for you. In these kinds of studies, if you find one thing that explains maybe 30%, you're celebrating. So 68%, that is absolutely massive. It tells you that innovation isn't just some side thing, it's the main event. So here's the bottom line from all that data. Both kinds of innovation, what you make and how you make it, are super important. And interestingly, the study found that the business owners themselves tended to have a stronger edge, which tells you that leadership is a really big piece of the puzzle. And you know what didn't matter as much? Things like age, how much school you had, or even how many years you've been in business. It seems like innovation was the great equalizer. All right, so we've looked at the theory, we've seen the hard proof. Now let's get to the most important part. What does all of this mean for you? For your business, for your project? Let's turn this research into an action plan. If you only remember one single thing from this entire explainer, please let it be this. In today's market, innovation is not a luxury. It's not a nice to have. It's not something you do when you have some extra cash lying around. Based on this data, it is a core, fundamental strategy for survival. Period. The researchers themselves said it perfectly. It's not about doing a few innovative projects here and there. It's about building a culture where innovation is just how you do things. an environment where new ideas for both what you make and how you make it are always welcome. So what does that actually look like? Well, first, don't forget about your processes. A new product is exciting, sure, but finding a smarter, faster, cheaper way to do things can be a total game changer. Second, if you're a leader, you have to lead the charge. The data showed how critical owners are. And finally, you've got to empower your whole team and help them build their skills. You never know where the next great idea is going to come from.
And that really leaves us with one final thought to chew on. Your next innovation doesn't have to be some huge, earth-shattering invention. It could be a tiny tweak to your service, a smarter way to handle your workflow, or one new feature for your customers. Based on everything we just saw, that simple act of just getting started might be the most important move you make.